Miller Park has the potential to be a wonderful asset for the local community in Malden. It's located in the heart of a dense residential neighborhood. It has ample space for a range of activities and users, and the basketball court is in constant use by local youths. But for many years, Miller Park has suffered from vandalism, misuse, and neglect. The park is strewn with trash and broken glass. The children's play area is filled with weeds, and many of the play structures have been damaged or broken. Graffiti covers the picnic pavilion where the tables have been burned and gouged by vandals. In December, the City of Malden and the Malden Redevelopment Authority received a grant from the TKF Foundation to plan a renovation to Miller Park. The end result? The creation of a plan for a tranquil, healing green space within the park. The project team has recently initiated a community dialogue about plans for the park. The goal is to better understand the concerns of the community and their vision to transform this park into a space that's open and welcoming to all. To begin this conversation, Ward 7 City Councilor Neil Anderson, community artist and organizer Tova Speeder, and architect Abigail Klima led a series of community input meetings. The following video shows excerpts from the first two meetings.
This is the second in our community input meetings that we're having around the idea of creating a community garden in Miller Park. And the purpose of our being here tonight is that we were just awarded a planning grant that has been from a foundation that is allowing us to gather input and gather information and plan the recreation of Miller Park.
11 grants were awarded across the country, and we are the only ones in all of New England who have received this. So this park, what we're trying to do here in Malden, is going to be an example for not just the city, not just the state, but the entire greater community of New England.
Hi, I'm Jason Mitchell. I'm a neuroscientist at Harvard. I think, as Tova mentioned, the foundation is very interested in helping to spur the development of these parks because they believe that folks having access to green spaces is ultimately something that is good for their well-being.
We are working from now until June to come up with what our proposal is going to be. Open space, when you think of that, is a welcoming, non-threatening oasis. It's someplace that's open to the public that anybody can come to.
What we're hoping is that we can diversify the use in the park. That there can be basketball playing, but there might also be a place to sit and relax. That children may want to use the park, and that maybe there'll be some places for children's recreation to bring back water, a water element into the park.
My son has to go all the way to, Suffolk Park to go to the park because there's swimming needles in the sand. I don't want my son stepping on one.
Now you walk over there, you walk in that sand pile, and there's more weeds there coming up through the sand and the sand.
What can we add? So far we've heard ideas of lighting and cameras.
The basketball courts go. I suggest they go because there is a lot of violence.
Taking away the basketball court is not the way to go, and I deal with this all the day. Kids need to go and play. People need this quiet space too. Everybody needs to enjoy it, and it needs to be just monitored after it's done. What we need to do is work together, bring out our little issues here, but you're in the right direction.
Thank you.
I applaud you on that.
I appreciate that.
Who's going to have to clean it?
You invest all this money and then you don't want 6 months down the road somebody coming along and destroying it.
My theory is once they start building and make the park more attractive and we as a community get involved just sitting in the park, going there every day.
The thing that would attract me there would be, peace and quiet, tranquility.
Where kids will be using the park, that's going to make a lot of noise. That seems like a huge obstacle, right? I'm just curious if...
Yeah. In some parks I've seen that are right next to really busy roads, just having a rushing water, moving water, it creates a second sound.
What are qualities that you look for in a park?
Like a pretty good incline so the kids will go sledding.
Maybe just flowers throughout.
My wife is cousins with the Millers. They are cousins and they're going to be very happy. My wife's going to be ecstatic when I get home and tell her. So I think that.
On a Sunday afternoon in March, Malden residents gathered at the Ferryway Elementary School for a Miller Park Community Design Workshop. The workshop followed on the heels of 2 community input meetings in which residents and park users shared their concerns regarding the current state of Miller Park and their hopes for future improvements. The goal of the meeting? To gather input about elements that would attract the community to the park. Architect Abigail Klima led the workshop and helped participants brainstorm and draw their ideas onto park plans. The activity focused on integrating an open space, sacred place into the master plan for the park. Participants worked in groups to discuss ideas for the park. They then worked in their groups to come up with a master plan for the park. Each group chose a representative to present their park plan.
What we would like to see in this area, vegetable gardens and flower gardens. The community. And what we'd like to do is get the kids involved.
Some apple trees, some musical instruments.
Bring the kids away from the basketball park. Definitely create physical barriers around the basketball park and for the surrounding residents and the homes.
This circle is play. We like climbing, lots of climbing walls, climbing boulders, play structures. We talked about elevated tables where people play with sand.
I wanted to include everything. Everything sounds so wonderful. You know, the waterfall, the garden, everything. You know, I'm listening to everybody's ideas. It's fabulous.
Round of applause for everyone.
I really enjoyed the workshop today. I'm so pleased that Miller Park is going to finally get the attention it deserves. It's obvious from the amount of people that came out tonight that a lot of people care about Miller Park, and I live just 2 blocks from the park.
I'm very excited about the whole new process. I live less than a block from the park. I've said for years it's not used for anything. I've been suggesting for years that we take the park and convert the whole thing to a community vegetable garden or a victory garden type thing. And so I was glad to be able to get involved with this and put that element into part of the planning. Some of the other things that have come up with will all be great to bring people down to that area, and they'll take better care of it.
I really love this park, and I wish we have a good park.
I'm sure the plans are going to be wonderful. It's going to be beautiful for everybody that lives in Malden and out of Malden.
This is Mrs. Miller. She's the widow of Robert Miller, who the park was named after.
Right. And I hope a lot of these things come to pass.
I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I will look after the park, and I'll make sure it's represented in the right way. I'll do my part, and thank you for doing yours. God bless.
More than 40 people from the Miller Park community participated in Sunday's workshop. In the next few months, we will continue our conversation with the community. Working together, we can create a shared vision for a renovation to the park that everyone can enjoy. As we continued our planning process for a renovation to Miller Park, the Malden community came together again, this time for a community art workshop. We focused on brainstorming ideas for the addition of community art to the park. Over 65 participants, both young and old, gathered to share their ideas. Many participants spoke with enthusiasm as they shared their experience of the process so far.
For all that's been going on around there for all these years, this is going to bring it right around. We're going to beautify it, hopefully open it up, just like you say, to every walk of life. So, but yet to include everybody in something that they would like to have in a open space is just amazing.
Community artist Tova Speeder facilitated the workshop. She led participants in a warm-up art exercise in which they worked together to create visual representations of their idea of tranquility. As a group, participants brainstorm surfaces and design themes for the community art.
And any other themes, like what the paintings or the art should be about, we have different cultures, if it's going to be a memorial, pictures of the community, the history, kids playing, and natural materials.
I think that we should put on the ground different paintings of different cultures because people from different cultures go to the park.
After the brainstorming session, individuals and groups created drawings continuing to explore ideas for surfaces and themes. Participants then shared their artistic ideas with the greater group.
I really like the idea of our kids with their hands around the pond showing, I think that if we get our kids involved, that they're going to be the ones that are watching this park and making sure that this park is bringing the level of awesome creativity that we have going on.
We actually wanted to do was have a series of benches and all around whatever walkway we had, and what each bench we worked within a certain period of time. We will come back a certain period of time in the history of Malden.
And then have built-in planters in areas.
So she said she made a sun and she turned it into a flower, and attached to the bench is a table, and on it it says "Nature Matters."
Residents are getting more and more excited about the potential transformation of Miller Park into an intergenerational, multicultural community garden. Attendance continues to increase at every community meeting. Community art will create a lasting visual representation of the community involvement in this process, and it will engage both young and old park users. It will also give us an opportunity to represent our united vision for Miller Park, a place that everyone can enjoy.
And the program was kind of fun. I had fun, I met new people, and it was just great.
I'm really excited about how they're trying to fix up the park and make it better for people to go to, and that they're letting kids speak their minds and say what they think about the park. So that there's not just adults' opinions, but kids' opinions too. I think this is a good idea, and I want the park to enjoy.
I think it's a good idea to change the park because all the years that I've been there have been very dirty, and there have been a lot of bottles and people.
Yes, I'm Carol. I'm a resident of Malden, and I attended this meeting today for the first time, and I just think it's an awesome, great idea for this wonderful family to leave a legacy in their name, for people to come together in a community where they can live, love, and laugh, and just enjoy one another, and just how it really should be.
You can learn more about this workshop and our whole community process at www.millerparkvision.com.